Well, thank you very much, and good evening to you all, ladies and gentlemen. And my apologies for delaying proceedings tonight. Planes are late all across the country, we're told, and we were late in here by over an hour, and I apologise. I'm standing between you and the winning of this and some good wine and camaraderie, so I'm going to be quick. First of all, can I acknowledge Leanne, the worshipness in waiting or something I'd kind of call you at this point. Not quite worshipness until when? Friday or something? Thursday, okay, Thursday. Well done, good result, and I look forward to working with you over the years, as we've done in the past. I think we've always been opponents in the Parliament, but actually got on quite well and been able to get some things achieved. Can I also welcome or acknowledge my colleague Nikki Wagner, who is the Member of Parliament for the area we're in, Christchurch Central. And I often, at the end of speaking after a number of people, of experts who have spoken, always often say I feel a little bit like Madonna's new boyfriend. I know what's expected of me now, but I don't know how I'm going to make it interesting for you. But, yeah, all right, I know you got it. But you know what? I actually feel a little bit more tonight like, okay. I actually feel a little bit more like Miley Cyrus's twerking partner, because I reckon that after this is finished, you ain't even going to remember I was part of it once it's over with. So let's get on to the important business, because it is a really important business. New Zealand, and I think just about everywhere else in the rest of the world, are indeed looking for way better ways for people to live in urban areas. I live in an apartment on the terrace right next to the Reserve Bank in Wellington, and it's pretty awful. If you go out of there on any day, on a weekend, it's concrete, there's nothing open, you're miles from anywhere, there's no one around. So urban living isn't that great if it isn't done well. Don't just say, oh, because I have an apartment in the middle of the city, it must be cool. It's not. So it's about not only making urban living sort of safe and functional, which you have to make it, but it's also about making it more inspiring and exciting and a draw card. And obviously here in Christchurch, where you're starting with a pretty good piece of blank canvas in many cases, to get this right, you could become a massive magnet to inner city living for people in an environment that you've not got that anywhere else in the world. None of the other cities in the world can just take out the entire city, knock it down and start again, and yet Christchurch has had a very good opportunity to do that with the ghastly earthquakes and what they've done. For this competition, there were 58 entries, which speaks volumes for the interest in it alone. 36 were homegrown, but the rest were from all over the world, with several from Europe, Australia, Asia, and the Middle East. And how cool is that, the interest in just this alone? The four finalists all developed what I think are practical and elegant options for people to live in the inner city. And I'm not going to even try and impose my views about it, because it's a little bit like art. I sort of don't know much about art, but I know what I like, and the last thing you would want is for me, as Minister of Building and Construction, to determine which is the best or the worst of these. But they all look quite spectacular in their own way. And as I said, we as a nation are increasingly wanting to live in urban areas, and unless we want those to just keep expanding out and just grabbing more and more rural and farmland in some uncontrolled expansion, we've got to find smarter ways to house the people within the current urban limits, or to at least try to get better density. So medium density housing, in my view, makes sense in terms of maximising the efficiency of all the infrastructure that's required, the use of roads and pipes and cables and all of the other things that are required for living, as well as all of the interesting amenities and schools and restaurants and bars and so on. All of the developments showcased here tonight are ones that can be built actually anywhere in the country. They don't have to just be built in Christchurch, and I'm really looking forward to, in the hope of, well, I was actually looking forward to the Auckland-Christchurch rugby match on Saturday night, but I'm looking forward to Auckland at least getting a win by having some of these in part of the solution that Auckland needs as well. So we should be looking with interest at these solutions where people can live within walking distance of work, within walking distance of entertainment, with schools and transport being a focus of how people actually function and live, rather than just building buildings and then hopefully finding ways they can work around it. Where you can live close to your neighbour, but you don't have to see or hear them unless you actually want to, is, in my view, a really good dream. So, like all good rugby matches and mayoral races and America's Cups, there has to be a winner. The winning design has a focus on building a community. It is embracing the idea that space is shared and cared and owned by that community, but it also offers attractive public space as well. It caters for people at every stage of their life. It encompasses a child care centre and dwellings that work for people who are right through the age group, including those who I think have made the latest Air New Zealand safety video. So the scheme combines the best of the new world with the grace of the old, and I agree with that because I've had a good look through it all. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very proud to announce that the scheme presented by Holloway Builders of Riccarton and Anselmi Tiani Architects and Cresco Engineers of Italy. Bueno. Has come third. No, has won. I just thought I'd try that out. Has won the Breathe competition. I'd like to ask the scheme's representatives, some of whom are here obviously from Italy even as well tonight, to come forward and please say a few words. Thank you very much.